Hello there, friends, and welcome to the Monday Show 63. I'm your host, Wes. With me, as always, my good friend Roots. Roots, we have a hell of a week in front of us. How's the start been treating you?
Good, good actually, and I was very impressed today because I had a little bit of time before the show, and I thought, you know what? It was only yesterday that we did the Sunday show, and I know YouTube takes forever, and it never lets me download it, but I'm going to try to download it and try to get it to Anchor on time early, and wouldn't you know it, let me do it. It's like that. The last show took me it was like 4 days before it let me download it. So I don't know, man. Sometimes YouTube like lets it go through easily, and other times it doesn't. And because I want to take the exact show that we do here and move it over, I have to wait for them. So, but this week it was good.
That's awesome. You know, YouTube and their AI, they have to comb through every word we say to make sure that no unapproved speech gets out there on their platform, right? Because they are a private company.
Tell you what, thank God we're talking about VR, and it's really easy to avoid for the most part. Like I, there are a couple things, like when the virus hit and stuff, like we had weirdness around talking about that, and that was weird, right? But other than that, it's good.
Yeah, Sion says, "What's that background?" And Spry Guy says, "I think it's The Walking Dead again." It is. This is the hub, Sion. This is where us zombie slayers make all of our weapons and food, and it's where we get drunk and go to sleep.
Yeah, I think that's the new Scooby Doo mystery machine behind you. I think that's the rumor, anyway.
It could be. This is the last estate of our friend Henri.
Oh yeah. Well, it's nice and comfy in there. So I did actually. I'll tell you what. That bus does make me feel cozy and warm. Because it's safe. Every time I see that bus, I know I'm safe, and I'm gonna get a bunch of crap. I can craft stuff, so it is good.
Alakazam says, "Y'all hear the news about upgraded PSVR games on PS5?"
Hmm.
Yes, we did hear it, and to be quite honest, it's not news to anyone here, right? Because this is exactly what we've been saying all along. It's only common sense, right, Roots, that if you have games that have scaling performance, they're going to perform better on better hardware, right?
Yeah, and why would they not? Why would the devs not want it to? Look what they do. They're running out to do stuff for the Quest too. I mean, it's the same for PlayStation. They want their games to run phenomenal and look phenomenal, and it's just. I mean, last week, Wes, or actually, it wasn't even yet last week. It was just a day. You were saying it's fake news, right? Because it was, and you were proven right. Not even a day later. So
Yeah, not only did we have Sony come out on the PlayStation blog, which basically confirmed everything that we've been saying, just pretty much word for word. But we also had London Studios come out this week and confirm that they're patching their game for PS5. So, what can we expect from Blood and Truth on PS5? Well, higher resolution, higher frame rate up to 90 frames per second, highest detail assets used at all times, and improved texture details. So, you know, I don't know, and obviously we can't confirm going forward what's going to happen, but I got to imagine that this is just going to be the first of many such patches that we're going to see on the best PSVR titles, and we're going to see something similar to what we saw when PS4 Pro launched, and we had about a year of these kinds of updates.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's no brainer, right? Like, if you were a developer, wouldn't you want to be? I mean, think about it. Blood and Truth, dude. If you got a PlayStation 5 and you're thinking about getting into VR, or you already have VR and you don't have Blood and Truth, that's the one game now is going to take advantage of that PlayStation 5. You're going to run out and buy it. I guarantee they double their sales they would have just by PlayStation 5 releasing. And I think this will set the trend, or should anyway, for any smart developers to do the same.
And you know what's the amazing thing about it is Blood and Truth is already one of the best looking games on PlayStation VR. I mean, there are parts in this game that at the time that it came out look better than a lot of the top PCVR games in that PSVR headset. Now, of course, since then we've had a new generation of PCVR, and PCVR has gotten a lot better. But at that time, Blood and Truth was about as good as it gets visually.
3 days, Wes. How psyched are you to try the PlayStation 5 if you get the
Dude,
adapter?
I'm so psyched. I've got so much going on this week, and in the next few weeks that, yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited, Roots. I'm excited to play flat games, and that's
Mm,
weird because it's been a long time since I've been excited to play flat games. But the prospect of 4K gaming with HDR paired up with like Sony exclusive games, obviously I'm not as excited as I am for like Medal of Honor or something cool like that. But I am looking forward to it.
yeah. Well, yeah. I understand. Of all people, may not. It may be PC flat game sometimes, but sometimes the game is just really good and you want to experience it, right? So, that's cool. I'm excited for you.
Well, the cool thing about it is you can lay in bed and play it, right? You don't have to sit up.
Yeah, you can play Dreams. Who knows what you're going to be able to play as well, right? So,
But I'm going to have some interesting dreams over the next month. All the games I'm going to be playing.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Anyway, a jam-packed Monday show lined up for you guys. Before we get started, let's, as always, say hello to the folks in chat. Phil Yarn dropping by, Scion, of course, making his usual wisecracks about PlayStation VR. Ray Pope, Alakazam, Overgees, and Traveling Man.
Hey,
And I
don't
think
forget
that's
about
it.
Roots. Roots is in there. He's up there at the top, though.
Roots is indeed.
Yeah,
Roots is a diehard fan.
yeah, for sure. I'm at every episode. It's weird.
Anyway, you guys are in for a treat today because we have the long anticipated return of Because I Said So. We haven't done Because I Said So in quite some time. We've done about 10 backlog reports since our last Because I Said So segment. And for those of you who are new to the channel, who are new to the Monday show and don't know what Because I Said So is, it's a segment where Roots basically tells me a game that I'm going to play, and I tell Roots a game that he's going to play, and it doesn't matter if we actually want to play the game or not. We're going to do it. Why, Roots? Why?
Because you told me to. You said, "Bitch, you're playing this," and I said, "Okay, I guess I'm playing it." Actually,
Exactly, because
and
I said so.
it's not always good though, right? Sometimes we pick ones that I mean, usually this is what was cool about this one. It was impromptu, like I was just telling you, man, you got to try this game, and you were like, "Oh fuck, let's do because I said so," and it worked out for me because I needed to get back into the game that I played, and you kind of forced me to, so that's
Well, I'm
cool.
glad, and we will certainly get to actually. You know what? Why don't we go ahead and get to that? I gave Roots a choice here. Actually, I didn't force upon him one title. I gave him two choices. I told him that he could play Outlast 2 in Helix Vision in full 3D, which is terrifying, believe me, and
Oh,
it runs very well at the same time. Or he can return to Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice, which is one of my favorite PC VR games, and play through a level because we talked about where he was at in the game a couple of days ago, and he really hadn't got into the game proper. He had just kind of gone through the first leg there and had come to the crossroads. So, Roots, what did you choose to play out of your two choices there?
well, for some reason, I was thinking was it Outer Wilds or something? The one that had the mod or whatever. I wasn't thinking it was you said Outlast, or I don't know. I probably would have picked that just because I don't even know. But I chose Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, just because Jim Hall was saying he still owns this game, hasn't tried it. A lot of people actually, even myself, I got wrapped up in the beginning of what everybody does with a lot of games, is the oohs and ahs. Everyone said, "Oh, you got to see how great this game looks, how good it sounds." I went in, I looked around, and I said, "Wow, this looks amazing." It sounded amazing, and then I took the headset off, and then I talked about it, and then I found out from you, well, shit, dude, you didn't even play more than like just the beginning level, and it was crazy because when I was talking about it, I think it was like last week or last time I brought it up before this last time. I was saying how amazing I was at the action, right? And then I actually came across a part where there was 3 or 4 people at once, and I found out I really am fucking amazing because I barely even got hit at all, Wes. Dude, I couldn't believe it. That was one of the things that made me want to play Dark Souls 2 again or Dark Souls 3 because that game always felt like it was so fast paced, but maybe it's just being in the game. But the action, when it gets to the action sequences, usually I'm like, I don't want to do this. I want to get to the story. But I was surprised that that was part of what I was really enjoying was just the way it felt to fight. You know what I mean? I don't know. I guess you do because you like this game,
I
right?
Yeah, I do know what you mean. This game, for those of you who haven't played it, is a third-person hack and slash game. So it basically plays like a flat game, but the big difference being it's in three-dimensional space, and you are in the space with the character. So it actually allows you to kind of zone in and get into the zone with the character a lot better, being that close with them and being in the three-dimensional realm with them. Yeah, it takes a minute to get used to the controls on it, but after the buttons become second nature, this is a gamepad game, by the way. After the buttons become second nature, and you get good at parrying and dodging, you can really you can really mess these dudes up pretty good.
Yeah.
And sounds like that zone is exactly where you've been playing.
Yeah, because the first time I died, well, a while ago, it was like I kept fighting people over and over and over and over again, and I never like all of a sudden I just couldn't kill them. I ended up dying, and I guess that was part of the story. I was supposed to die to show you that hey, this is the penalty for dying. But I haven't died since, Wes, and I'm very surprised because I've gotten to some pretty crazy spots where it just keeps getting harder and harder every time I come into these guys. And what's weird too is the voices, man. Like I remembered in the beginning, like the voices they kind of mess with you and they talk and stuff, but now I'm hearing voices from a distance and like you kind of hear what they're saying, but you can't. And I really want to know what they're saying, Wes, because I feel like they're trying to tell me a clue. Because there's all sorts of puzzles. As soon as I get through a puzzle, I'm getting to the next one. But what's cool about it is it seems like it's most of the time it's I don't know. I don't know what's going on, Wes. Like something's not there, and then I look through something, and then all of a sudden the bridge is there, and it's pretty cool. It's just different. You know what I mean? It's very surreal, and it blows me away that I just happened to look into Steam and I saw a review, and I thought, and I realized it was Derails, and it was after 16 minutes of gameplay. He said, and he was said something about, yeah, you might as well play this game on 4K TV because you're missing out on the detail. I need to ask him what that was all about, but I don't think this would be as good on a 4K TV, man. It just feels like being in that atmosphere is very surreal.
Oh, no, it would be a completely different experience. I was going to ask you which path you took. Did you take the Valravn path or the Soot path? But I can tell from what you're saying there that you went into the Valravn level,
I didn't know
the
there was a
Master of
difference.
Deceit, the Lord of Deceit.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's trying to trick me, Wes. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's cool, man. I definitely recommend it for anybody. I know it's always going on sale, but now I want to see this game. And actually, I saw there's I guess some story or something, some kind of a short story or some kind of thing in the menu, and I started to click into it, and I said, "Oh, you don't want to do this if you haven't finished the game." So I canceled out of it real quick because I don't want to spoil anything. But see, that's when your arm you die, and then your arm turns into some kind of creepy thing. It's actually kind of weird that with the way that whole scene progressed as well, right? It made me think I was dead, and then it like flashed back, and it was like, oh, that was the vision she got that her future. And that's what another thing that I like about is that like all these different things I keep finding that are telling the story, like about Odin and just it's just filling in little bits and pieces. I can see why it's one of your favorite games. It's got like everything that you would want from a game, right?
Yeah, yeah. I love the level that you're on. The Valravn level, it plays with your perception. There's tons of hallucinations, and generally your path forward through the level depends upon your vantage point. So, like, you'll come to you'll be going down the path, and you'll come to a dead end. Like, there'll just be a rock wall or a mountain or something, and there's no way through. But you'll end up examining the area that you're in, and you'll find like a little wooden doorway, nothing, on either side of it, just some sticks standing up with a little totem on top of it. And you'll walk around to the other side of it and peer through it. And all of a sudden, an opening appears in the wall. And it's these type of perspective based puzzles that really made that level awesome. And not to mention, just the cool aesthetic. Did you notice the eyeballs on like
Yeah.
the wall that were constantly looking back and forth?
Yeah, it kept moving around too, because I thought I was like, is that really an eyeball in there? And then it disappeared, and then it moved over to somewhere else, and it was watching me, Wes. I could feel it. But yeah, and that was what's cool is like, the door's shut, and then you got to make your way all the way around and look through there, and now you can see, like, if you walk around back around, it's still shut, but if you walk and look through and walk through, now you walk into that. The way I took it, that reality where the door is open. You're like going in and out of realities is kind of how I look at it. I don't know. Maybe I'm totally off base, but it's definitely bizarre. Definitely being in this world. And then I was messing around. I don't know if you do, with the tabletop and the giant view and just getting different perspectives at different times. I will submit it didn't help me one bit at all on any of the puzzles. But it was cool to watch that little character running around and stuff, tabletop style, right?
Yeah, it took me forever to get through this game because every time I would come into a new area, I would want to take it all in by switching over to tabletop mode. And for those of you who don't know, tabletop mode kind of shrinks the entire game world down to like moss level size wise. So everything's tiny, but it allows you to really appreciate the detail that has gone into the to this world that they've created. And I just did it for pure aesthetics, just pleasure to just the pleasure of taking in all the wonderfully detailed scenery, and then I would go back to normal size and play. I didn't really do a whole lot with the giant mode. I didn't really feel like it was all that different, to be quite honest.
Well, what it is it makes you just really like you feel like you're short because everything's so big, right? Um, what I thought, Wes, you beaten this game, right? Would you consider playing through the entire game in tabletop? That would be different. You know what I mean? Because I've thought about even just I haven't even finished the game, and I thought, wow, wouldn't that be a cool way to replay the game in a completely 100% tabletop? Or
Yeah, I thought about that, and then I tried it when I went back into the game for the second time, but I quickly ended up going back into the character level view just because I enjoy it so much like that.
yeah.
But I'm going. I think I stopped about halfway through last time. I'm going to finish it in the G2.
Mm.
So I'll be back in this game in short order. Did Obviously you played on your Quest? Did you play with Link or Virtual Desktop?
See, that's the thing. I can't. I was having issues with getting the virtual desktop to work with it for some reason. Um, it just kept wanting to pop into um,
Flat mode, right?
yeah, it's like certain games have that issue, and I haven't figured out what it was. And I tried it several times, and then I said, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna play it link because I got the link, and I need to play it for the show. But I wanted to play it and see the colors pop, and I think I was able to get it started through Steam VR, but for whatever reason, it was maybe I just need, I don't know, man. The controls were all
I had
jacked.
I had the same issue with Rec Room. Like I couldn't boot into Rec Room without it launching into flat. So I know exactly where you're coming from there.
Yeah. Let's see, this is what's cool right there. All those different things. Like I'm like running around this one area trying to figure out how to get to this uh bridge and to knock it down. And then all of a sudden, I guess I went through something because it was all of a sudden it was just I was in front of it. And I was like, oh shit, I can knock it
Right.
down now. It's weird. I felt at times I felt like I don't know what's going on or where I'm at. I just kind of roaming in circles, and these voices are yapping in my ear telling me that I'm wasting my time, and then one's encouraging me, and I felt crazy, Wes.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the idea here, right? So, uh, for those of you who haven't played, the lead character, Senua, the character that you're playing, is schizophrenic, right? Or back in the olden times that the game takes place, they kind of look at her as being possessed, right? But she's schizophrenic, and the developers, the creators behind this game, studied in great detail schizophrenia and how it must be to be afflicted with this mental illness. And they replicate that through the form of voices in your ear. So, from the whole game, from start to finish, with a few exceptions, these voices are constantly going off in your head. Some of them are telling you things that are supportive. Other others are telling you things to kind of attack you and make you get down on yourself. Uh, a lot of the times they're at conflict with one another. There are other times where they all agree, but it makes you wonder which ones you can trust and which ones you can't trust. And it makes you kind of feel crazy, kind of like you're schizophrenic because it's constant voices in your head. And Rich, did you play with headphones or did you play open ear?
I played open ear because I do think the headset is actually louder than the Rift S was, and it seems fine to me. Now, I will submit that they were laughing at me, Wes, and I didn't like it. Like if I
Right.
went a certain place, and then they're like, "You drop down," and then they're like, one of them's like, "Oh, you're fucked now. Oh, you shouldn't have jumped. Yeah, that was a big mistake." And I'm like, "Oh, are you kidding me? Like, and now I can't go back. You know, it's kind of rude."
Yeah, I felt that I played it with open ear as well when I went back into it, and I kind of felt that it helped with the immersion. It made the voices in your head seem a little bit more like voices in your head, right?
Yeah, yeah, and like I said, it's not always. Sometimes it's loud, sometimes it's really quiet, sometimes you can kind of barely make it out. There's like times when you're supposed to be listening for music or something, and so I'm like trying to hear, and they're like cackling in my ear, and I'm like telling them to shut up, and now I'm talking to the voices. Now I am crazy. So it's crazy.
Yeah, dude. All I can say is keep going with this one because as insane as the Valravn level is, you basically have two to three, depending on how you look at it, more levels, and they're each one very different from the last, but just as insane.
Oh, wow. Well, and the puzzles are, they're easy, but they're not easy. They're easy until that, like this whole thing of lining up these ravens and shit. Once you get to the right spot, it's like, oh, hey, it's right there. It's just finding that spot sometimes, right? Um,
Yeah, and I would say that the ones in this level were probably the most difficult ones
oh,
because there
good.
were a couple that were very difficult to line up.
Yeah, yeah, especially near the end of it. Um,
Yeah.
well, I'll tell you what, it was definitely worth going back into. I'm glad I was told to go into this, and yeah, I can't wait to hear what you had to say about the crap game I made you go into. Well, actually, I don't think it's
Uh,
crap,
e,
but
ET2K9 now says, didn't they end up donating proceeds to mental health organizations? I actually think that that's correct. They actually did. They worked closely with one organization in particular when they were putting this game together, and that they wanted to do their part, I guess, to help people with this problem.
yeah, it looks amazing there in there too. I kept marveling over like, wow, how good does this look, right? Just even the shawl she's wearing, the feathery things all ruffling in the wind, the way that she looks when the rain is coming down on her, like an
The
angel. No, it's
the
good.
the sack she carries around with her boyfriend's head in it.
Yeah, well, yes, and let's not judge her. She had a rough time, and I mean, I would have a hard time giving up the head too. Look at the governor; he had multiple heads. Nobody talked smack about him. Everybody loved his eye patch.
Oh,
So,
in Saints and Sinners, I've carried heads in my backpack.
well,
You
that's
know,
true. Well, and see, I think that's one critique that we never told Gamer Chick. I want reactions, Gamer Chick, and she's not out there tonight, but I want reactions from the NPCs. If I bring the head of the husband to that woman, I want her to react. I want her to freak out, like start cursing you out, pull out a gun and start shooting you or something. You know what I mean? That would be cool.
One day the AI is going to be just that good. But actually, what you're describing there is part of kind of what I have planned for my video, my
Mm.
Saints and Sinners video that I'm about to make. I'm going to fetch and retrieve a very high profile head in this game,
Ooh.
and see what I can get for it.
Yeah, maybe you get yeah, they'll give you the whole key to the city. Sounds good.
That's quite possible.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, man. A top 10 VR game in my opinion, Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. You can pick it up uh, fairly cheap if you look around at some of the key the third party Steam key sites. This is a key that you can find on there generally 20 bucks, 25, something like that. Worth every penny. I played through it. I'm going to play through it again. I'm actually halfway through. Once I get started though, it's hard to stop playing this game because like Ruuts said, not only are the visuals stunning, it's got the best audio that I've probably ever experienced in a game. But the gameplay is just it's outstanding. Not only the action gameplay, but the puzzles as well. It's just about as close to a 10 out of 10, in my opinion, as you can get. And the more I think about it, the more angry I get that Xbox or Microsoft rather
Oh.
purchased Ninja Theory.
Yeah, it's funny. That was going to be my next comment is like, don't fall in love with it too much because you might be pissed off when you're might not be able to play it in VR. And then you literally just say that. So kind of puts emphasis on what I was going to say because it kind of sucks, right? Like I'm afraid that I'm going to fall in love with the story at the end of it. And then I'm going to want to know what happens in Hellblade 3 and I'm going to have to slum it. Uh, Flat game, although I don't mind. I love me some flat games as well, but if I can be in the atmosphere, I mean, who wouldn't want to be in it in the game versus looking at it, you know?
Yeah, no chance in hell I'll play this flat. No chance in hell. I will wait and hold out hope that they release the VR patch like they did for this game. I'm hopeful, Roots, because you know, Microsoft may own Ninja Theory now, but I mean, originally this was a flat game. It was a flat game on PC. It was a flat game on consoles, and that's going to be the case again. It's going to be on PC as well as consoles. So maybe they'll release the PC VR patch once again. I see it as just as likely as not.
What if it's exclusive to Windows Mixed Reality and you get to play it on your G2?
Well, that would suck for everybody else, but I'm sure people would find a workaround.
Yeah, well, you'd still get to play it. That'd be cool.
Yeah, well, I hope so. What I might do, if it doesn't support VR within the first couple of months, is try immersive screen 3D. That might work.
Yeah, that's true actually, and I've found anyway that almost every game is just as good. Now I'll tell you, some of the older games look really weird when you try it though. Now, have you tried it yet with your 3080, the
I haven't
Helix Vision?
actually. That might be next Monday show. Is that sounds like a pretty good thing to do next week.
Yeah, because you're gonna experience the fun that I've been experiencing. Because you had such an easy time with it, and it's not so easy, Wes, when for whatever reason with the newer cards.
Well, it's not going to work. It's either going to work or it's not going to work. If it doesn't work, my kid's going to be building a PC for Christmas with a 1080 in it, so I can always go in on his computer and play the flat games.
Well, it's true, very true.
That's my long term plan. I'm going to keep this 1080 till the end of time.
You might as well, right? It's gonna run forever, bro.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on to my because I said so, or I guess in this case because Roots said so. Roots, what did you make me play?
Oh, this game. Actually, just watching the trailer again. Because we were talking about horror games, right? And how there's no good weird horror game types on PC, and you hadn't tried Oregon Quarter, and so I thought it would be a good one for you to give a look into and see what you thought. I know the TV alone in the beginning was weird, but other than that, I say it's been so long since I even went in there. I want to know what this game's about, Wes.
Well, I can see right off the bat why you thought that this would be a game that I would like. I'm always going on and on about how there's not enough games that keep you in a perpetual dream state. Not enough games where anything could happen at anytime. Reality can change all around you at any moment, and just these games generally tend to have a sense of weirdness about them. And I could say that Oregon Quarter has weirdness in droves. I mean, this is a weird ass game, brother. You're basically in this old dilapidated apartment building that has been hamburgerized. Like there's hamburger all over the doors. There's hamburger, the TVs are filled with hamburger, and it's not like normal dead hamburger like we eat. It's zombie hamburger that's living and moving. And yeah, it's strange, brother. It's very strange.
Yeah, well, the TV when it sucked you in or something, I don't know. So I just I want to know. I think Mamefan even played through this, but I want to know like what the story is. I know that it was very bizarre, and not that I
Yeah,
should have.
I haven't made it out quite yet. There hasn't been a whole lot of overarching story elements to it yet from where I'm at. I can tell that I'm a patient of some kind of a head doctor, and
Mm,
I heard some words toward the beginning about uh, we had to do the treatment or something like that. We had no choice; it was already too late. Things of this sort. So I could tell that I'm kind of in my own head right now, and then that I'm insane, kind of. Beyond that, I don't really know yet what the overarching story. Now there are some sub story elements going on within the world that I'm in. I keep finding these letters where this guy is describing the building in an almost sexual way, talking about peeling off the layers and how the windows are wearing certain things like eyeliner. It sounds like he wants to do it with the building roots. It's kind of weird.
Who doesn't want to do with a building in 2020, right? I mean, that's pretty much standard, but that's
But
very
listen,
bizarre.
dude, if this building were a woman, it would be like a trailer wolf skank, dude. Like I wouldn't want to have sex with this building at all.
A lot lizard. Yeah,
Yeah.
no. I'll tell you what. Yeah, see, I didn't see. Now, did you kill anything? Because I know that's one memory I remember is like having a gun and dying several times. And I figured, man, Wes probably went in here and just owned everything, or maybe you never ran into anything yet. I don't know.
No, those monsters, they take 6 shots and they fall. Sometimes five if you hit them in the head. No, I haven't been killed yet. I got hit
Mm,
once, but
okay.
the game gives you so many like medical kits. If you search, there's like medicine in every little crack and crevice. So like I'm constantly going back to these save trunks that they give you. It has a Resident Evil style save system where
Mm.
there's a trunk that you can throw your stuff in, and then later on in the game you'll come to another trunk and it'll have your stuff in it. I keep throwing crap in there that I because there's just literally stuff everywhere.
Yeah, it's funny because you said there was stuff in every crack and crevice right as the guy was shoving his hand up the toilet. It's not somewhere I'd be looking for anything up there. Even if there was a key up there, I think I'll leave it. But
I got some ammo out of one of the toilets.
did you really? Oh my God! So there's ammo in there. See, I never checked. I guess maybe I didn't inspect stuff, so maybe I ran out of bullets or something. But I don't know. I need to go back in this as well. So it's definitely weird, and I guess we'll find out more if you just. Is it something you'll go back into? I guess you got such a big backlog.
Yeah, man, I like the concept of the game. I like the weirdness factor. I like pretty much everything about it except for the graphics are kind of dated, and we knew that going in, obviously. But it looks like a PS1, PS2 era game. Uh, and a lot of people think that that's quaint and charming. It's kind of immersion breaking for me. Now, that said, the game does have some really good lighting effects. It has some very good lighting effects and dynamic shadows, which help make up for it a bit. But anytime I'm in one of these blocky worlds, uh, it kind of breaks immersion for me. Um, but again, the textures themselves, like everything has a pretty good texture to it. It looks realistic if you get close and look at the walls and things. It's just the general shape of things and the assets are those old style assets. And you know what? I kept thinking the entire time that I was in this game. I don't know if you'll remember, but we once covered a game called uh, what was it called? Dement.
Mm,
And, people kept saying, Dement looks a lot like Organ Quarter. Dement's a lot like Organ Quarter. And I absolutely 100% agree with that. Dement is a lot like Organ Quarter, uh, not only in the look of the game, but the structure of the game. You have the same kind of old, dilapidated apartment building. You have the same style of, gameplay. I mean, uh, I would, at this point, you know, having limited time in both games, I would say that Dement's a pretty effective organ quarter clone.
yeah. Well, now let me ask you this. After playing through some of this, um, do you look at the building a little differently, like
Oh yeah,
sexually?
I did not like that one dude for sure. But
Yeah.
no, I like it, man, because I mean, you're trying to get out, right, and you're going down through the different levels, and the level that you start on is fairly intact. But as soon as you go down one level downstairs, then all of a sudden there are major parts of the floor missing, and it's not just like there's a hole that you can see you're going to fall down and hit the floor down there. It's like a infinite black void, that if you feel like if you fall off the edge, you might just keep falling forever. Um, I mean, there's all kinds of weird stuff. I went into a woman's apartment and she was home and, she was all dolled up and flirtatious, but like her bedroom had a big void in the middle of it. So you couldn't actually get over to where she was at. But she was saying weird stuff like, when you die, can I have your skin? Stuff like that.
What?
Uh, yeah, I know, right?
Wow.
But she did end up inviting me out to the club for a drink later. So I think if I keep going, I might actually catch up with her.
Well, let me ask you this. Is that a deal breaker? Like some chick's really hot, got a great personality, and she just lets it slip that she wants your skin when you're dead? Not tomorrow, like just whenever you die, she wants your skin. I don't know. That might
Right.
be a skin break, or I mean, a skin breaker. That might be a deal breaker for me. I don't know.
Well, you got to keep taking into account a couple of things. One, she's an artist, so artists
Well,
right off the bat are a different breed.
no, it's true.
Two, uh, the conversation we kind of got around to that by like she hadn't seen me in so long that she thought I might be dead.
Oh.
So it wasn't just that she blurted it out. She's like, "I know this is kind of a weird thing to ask, but when you die, can I have your skin?"
Sure. Well, if I'm dead, I don't care. You can have my skin if you want.
Why not, man? I'm an organ donor.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an organ, right? It's your biggest organ of your body.
That's what they say, but they obviously haven't looked at my body.
Well,
Oh, anyway, enough jokes, and obviously that was a joke. Uh, it was a fairly big exaggeration. What we're talking about organ quarter. Some might say I have a quarter organ roots. Ba-dum,
uh, yeah. See, I do. I need that sound bite. I need that. Uh,
Yeah, we'll have to get that one for next week. The old rim shot.
yeah. Yeah. That's a good idea.
But anyway, I really I'm digging the game. I wish really this is a game I'd like to see a remaster of, right? like uh like a new version with updated graphics because you were right to put me in this game. There's a lot of aspects to it that I enjoy. There's a lot of searching and scavenging, exploration of a very surreal environment, a lot of weirdness in droves, and in action too. I mean, you got a gun. I got multiple guns, Roots. I got a shotgun. Um, that I haven't tried yet. But these monsters, they're about to get it, man. And you know, I look forward to the next time I stick my head in the hamburger because that's how you save the game, Roots. You stick your head in the hamburger.
That's what's so weird. It's like it's the hamburger TV, right? And you got to stick your head in there. Like the first time I played it, I'm like, what is that? 'Cause that's what stuck with me about this game is weirdness in droves. I never got to the lady with skin. You know what I mean? Like if I'd gotten there, I would have been like, "Oh my god, Wes really has to play this game. This is bizarre as fuck." But yeah, it makes me want to go back in there. And I guess that they're checking off rooms? You're going to different rooms trying to find something, or did you
And
find
it's
that
cool.
map? Or
Yeah, yeah, it's cool how they did it too because you're in this pretty sizable apartment building, and they give you a map pretty much right off the bat, and they give you like a stamper. So you bring up the map literally in front of your face, and you have this ink stamp with different types of ends you can put on it, and you can stamp the rooms so that you have some reference. Okay, there's nothing in this one. X. Okay, there is something in here. Circle. And then there's a couple of other logos that I don't know what they mean yet, but I'm sure as the game goes on, I'm going to figure it out.
how cool you can like duck under stuff, and it kind of makes you it just watching this video. It makes me feel like does a really good job of creating this big space. I mean, how many games do you go into that you see all these assets or these rooms you can't go in, right? You can go in every room,
There,
right?
there, there is a lot here, a lot of blocked doors here, and I don't know. I might be able to come back and find my way into them later.
Mm,
But with that said, there's quite a few that you can go in as well,
mm.
and some of the some of the stuff's just downright weird. Like pretty much every room I've been able to get into has had a closet that's boarded up. So like there's an empty closet with boards over the door. I don't know what all of these people are doing, but literally every apartment has this boarded up closet in it.
That's weird. What's the closet? Maybe something comes out of the closet, and it's not boarded up very well either. I mean, it's
Oh, it ain't. No, it isn't. It's just like four boards over the whole doorway.
yeah, it's like you're trying to keep something big out, so something that can't duck under stuff. Well, I'm definitely going to go back into it and check it out. Definitely has weirdness all over it, and this thing's on sale all the time too, right? I think it's on
Well,
Steam.
that's interesting, Roots, because I played this via Port Infinity, so I
Oh,
didn't have to buy it at all. I just went into Infinity and added it to my library and played it.
yeah. No, I say when I ended up playing it, it was when I was it was either Mamefan or Alex's copy, but I didn't know if it was a Viveport Infinity, man. You know what I was thinking is we should do a Viveport Infinity episode sometime soon because there's so many good games on there, right?
Well, that's what I had thought that we would do today because not only did I play Organ Quarter um, through Infinity, there was a reason I chose to do it through Infinity instead of the shared Steam copy that we have. I read recently that HTC Viveport now through the end of the year is forfeiting their cut of the profits when people play these games
Ooh,
to the developers. The developers get 100% of the proceeds now through the end of the year when people play these games. So I thought that it would be cool for me to play Organ Quarter on Viveport so that that developer could make a little bit of money. And I thought we'd get on here and talk about some of the better titles on Viveport that people can play. It's still the best value at full price. It's the best value in VR even today.
how awesome is that? I think that's a really good idea, Wes. Like even if I want to play one of these games that we're going to talk about today, I'm going to play it on Viveport because I can, and because it gives the devs more money, and me playing my copy that I own already doesn't. So,
Yeah, I think the way that it works, and some of this comes from talking to developers who were kind enough to give me some insight, and some of it's my own speculation. But I think the way the monetization works with Viport is they get X amount of money every month from their subscribers, right? And they divvy up the money that you pay in by the amount of playtime you put into each game. So they'll take X percentage, they'll give the developers X percentage, and the developers cut gets decided by how much time we spend in this game or that game or this game. So if I play like Oregon Quarter and then I go play like a Fisherman's Tale and I give them each an hour and that's all I play for the month, then the developers share that month. Half of it will go to Oregon Quarter, the other half will go to Fisherman's Tale. Uh, but again, for the remainder of the year, Viveport's not taking their cut. They're giving that to the developers as well. So I think it's very commendable. I think that's an awesome thing for them to do. And I think it's an easy way for us to support the developers, even if we already own a game, to play it through Viveport, just so that we can help put a little coin back in the pockets of these developers who bring us the games that we love.
Absolutely. And some of these games, like the first game we're going to talk about, I've never even tried. And we've talked about it recently. And now I'm going to try it on Viveport and I'm going to give the developers money playing a game. I don't know. I just think that's cool.
Yeah, so we decided to do like Overgeez is calling it here a best of Viveport episode, but we couldn't call it a best of Viveport episode because we've done like 2 or 3 best of Viveport episodes already, and they weren't really the best of Viveport. They were kind of us laughing at the bargain bin titles that Viveport has, and they do have a lot of those. But this is a legitimate best of Viveport. These are some of the best games, and Roots. We still really couldn't call it the best of Viveport because there's so many games. There's so many great games on the Viveport Infinity Library that even just narrowing it down to 10 was it took some, you know, contemplation, right?
Yeah, dude, because my heart sank a little bit as I was looking at Scion talk about how Into the Radius is such a good game. Um, and same thing like this, exploring, finding stuff, action. And I thought, oh shit, it didn't make the list, but it's on there, Scion. It's just mixed in. This is like 10 awesome Viveport Infinity titles plus Into the Radius.
Right. So yeah, we're going to do this, and I got to imagine that we will continue to come back to this theme in future episodes. But you guys will never know coming in if it's going to be a legitimate best of Viport or if
Mm.
it's going to be one of these that have a taco face and stuff like that on it.
I almost picked Taco Face today. For all they know, Wes, right now we could just start busting out a bunch of bullshit and say, "Here we go." Um, you never know.
The old bait and switch, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think there's
So
829 over G's. There's something's insane, and what's awesome about it, because Wes is talking at the end of every Sunday, he lists at least 1 or 2 games, and usually it's the big games that just came out. I mean, how many games in a row do they have that drops and then Viveport Infinity supports it? I mean, it's just I just can't believe it.
yeah, man, their horror library has become very impressive over the last month. I almost regretted after we had the show set today, Roots, that we didn't break it up by genre because literally we could do 10 games per genre, easy, 10 great games per genre, easily from what's available on Viveport.
Yeah, so this would be my advice. If you just got into VR, just get just if you don't want to commit to a full year, just get 1 month just so you can see. And then you'll probably end up getting the year and you'll say, shit, I should have got the whole year on sale. But it's definitely a great way to try a lot of these games and play through just so many different games and at a cheap price.
Yeah, dude. Literally, it's all you would need. If you're okay with not getting like every top release the day it comes out, Viveport Infinity is all that you need.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway, let's get started. Roots picked 5 titles. I picked 5 titles. Who did we have up first, Roots? I don't even remember.
I think you were the first one. No, I guess we'll just
All
switch to it.
right.
Yeah.
So my first title. Okay, so my first title, I actually picked this one because we were talking the other day about some horror games, and Reckoner VR was in our chat, and he said A Chair in a Room Greenwater was one of the best horror titles that he had played. And I came back to that with, yeah, that's a very good title. Uh, it was on sale on Steam last week, but you don't see it go on a very deep discount very often. And the other thing I said about it was that it was a little rough around the edges, right? That there was a little bit of jank to it. It was a little bit dated, but all in all, a very good game from Wolf and Wood, the developers behind the Exorcist Legion VR. Anyway, as I was going through Viveport, looking at all these titles, I noticed a chair in a room, Greenwater, and I noticed in tiny letters on the bottom of the thumbnail, it said remastered. And I thought, what? I didn't know that game had gotten remastered. So I clicked into it and read the update notes. And sure enough, Roots, they've remastered this game
Hmm.
with updated graphics. That they've gotten rid of all the jank that I was talking about. And I felt like I needed to come on here and not only tell people that they could play this with Viveport Infinity, but correct what I said yesterday about the thing being janky. Obviously, they've fixed that.
I need to go into this. Is one of the games that I was saying. I when I saw it, I was like, "Oh shit, I haven't played this game. I need to go into it." Especially after you were just talking about it last week. And
Well, I'll be honest, Roots. This was going to be your because I said so title until I realized that you didn't have it in your library, and I didn't want to make you buy a game. I know you would have
mm,
if I told you, but I didn't want you make you buy a game, and I didn't realize it at the time that you could have played it on Viveport.
that's all right. It got me back into Hellblade, so it all works out because now I want to play this game as well. So it's cool.
Well, you can, and not only can you play it, but you can help support Wolf and Wood by playing it on Viveport.
Yeah. Well, the next game that I picked is although I didn't pick your baby Scion into the Radius because that is on Infinity. I picked your other baby from Cyan, creators of Mist and Riven, and I mean, who doesn't want to support these people because they're putting out amazing games. We're gonna be playing Mist pretty soon on Quest 2, right? But Abduction is one of the best games you can play on in VR, and you can play it for free.
Yeah, man, this is one of those games that I'm just waiting on my G2 to get back into now because I've got the 3080 to really beef it up. And the graphics are a little bit dated, but it's not like Organ Quarter dated indie graphics. This is dated AAA graphics, so they still look good as they are. And I got to imagine when I crank up the resolution on it that it's going to be just breathtaking.
And the story and the puzzles, I still want to know what's going on in this, and I need to get back into it.
Yeah, man, this is top notch game all around. When I go into a puzzler, this is the type of game that I'm hoping for, right? This is like the goal when I play any puzzler is to get into a game like this, a game that constantly keeps you off balance, a game that's very detailed, not only on a narrative level, but on a puzzle level. So like the puzzles in these games from Cyan, um, you always have to be switched on and thinking about a puzzle that you encountered an hour ago because the world itself is one big puzzle. So literally, you'll travel miles to the other side of the map, and you'll find a clue for a puzzle that you encountered an hour ago, way back there. So it's really the kind of game you got to take notes to keep up with, right?
Isn't there a camera you can take pictures as well? And ET2K9, I should just say ET, says, did they ever fix the bugs in Abduction? And as far as I know, the bugs that I encountered the first time I played it, and this was way back in 2018, like I would be moving and then it would run the locomotion, like I would run into a wall. Like if you stepped off, just moved a little bit, you ended up out of track and you would run into invisible walls, and that doesn't happen anymore. So I think, as far as I know, they fixed the bugs. Cyan.
They absolutely, yeah, they did. It was like a year and a half ago. They released a big patch for Abduction that corrected all of those bugs. Not only that, but the PSVR version of this game was pretty much unplayable, and it's now a lot better, especially on the PlayStation VR Pro. It's actually pretty good on the Pro now.
I'd like to see it on the PlayStation 5. Be nice.
I would too, but I think that my PC with the beefed up graphics card is going to have to do.
Yeah, I guess you'll have to slum it with a 3080. Yeah.
Yeah, 3080 and the G2 is just going to have to deal with that garbage.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just thinking I just got more coffee and it made me think, wasn't it Reckoner VR? I thought I was ironing something one time. I thought it does kind of look like I'm ironing as I'm filling my coffee cup. So I guess what's the next one you had on your list, Wes?
Oh, let's see here. My next title is a classic title, Roots, and it's it's a well-known game, a beloved game, but I still feel like it's a very underrated game. This is one of the funnest games in VR, and that's To the Top. And I feel like as time has gone on, and Oculus has shunned this title from their Quest store, people have forgotten just how good To the Top is and just how fun it is to play. You can bring a friend. I'm not even sure how many. I think you can bring like uh, four or maybe even more people that you can play this game with simultaneously. And if heights in VR affect you,
Mm.
this is the game for you, man. This is the one you want to play because it's all about climbing. And Roots, once you get to the top, you can either cross the finish line or you can jump off, man. And the feeling of falling in this game is just incredible.
Look at that loop de loops. Yeah. Yeah. I think you and I even went into some multiplayer and it was definitely really cool. So I need to get back into this one as well. And what an amazing game to be able to play for free with Viveport Infinity, right?
Dude, it's one of the best games in VR. It seriously is. And I know a lot of people underestimate it because of the low detail graphics, but believe me when I say that it looks cool inside the headset. There's actually a lot of texture to these surfaces when you get right up on them, like these blue and yellow surfaces. When you get up on them, they look like a rubber. Like you can see like marks and stuff on it from where people have been climbing on it. It's really cool looking, and it is available on Oculus Quest if any of you out there uh, don't have like PCVR or PlayStation, you can get this game for Oculus Quest, but you have to get it through SideQuest. It's a side-loaded game, $15. It's a great deal, but if you have a PC, you can play it included with your Viveport Infinity subscription.
Cool. Yeah. What an amazing game, right?
I love it, dude. It's absolutely amazing.
All right. So my
What do you got next? What do you got next for us, Roots?
the next one I picked was a no brainer. We just talked about them last week with their new was it was their game was Yuki their game? I think Arvore. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, Yuki. Yeah, yeah, Yuki. Yuki VR comes from Arvora
Yeah.
or
Ar
Arvora.
yeah, yeah. So it was Pixel Ripped 1989. And this is another game that was shunned from the Quest, even though it's now making its way in the 1995 DLC. Very bizarre. I want to get that, Wes. I don't even know how to do that, but I need to check it out. But this is one of the coolest games. If people haven't seen Pixel Ripped, they don't know what being inside of a game feels like. And this is definitely one of the most unique type of games you can play in VR. And it's retro, man. Who doesn't love retro, right?
Yeah, nostalgia overload with this game. I mean, like they knew what they were doing, Roots, because all of us early VR adopters, the people that could afford it when it was still too expensive for the general public, we're all old dudes, right? Old people that have had jobs for decades. So they knew that, and they knew exactly how to make a game that would appeal to us. And this game is tailor made for our generation because it throws us literally into the games that we grew up loving. Uh, these types of games that this game displays are the type of games that sparked our love that has brought us here to today into being VR gamers. So it's absolutely a must own for anyone of our generation.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially the way they bring like the boss fights were the best parts, right? Where they integrate everything. It's like all of a sudden everything comes together and it's just so unique. And I've talked to people that weren't into flat games, really not into retro. I still believe it's something that everybody should try because it's different than any other type of video game I've ever played, especially in VR.
Yeah, and these developers too, they're such good people. They're really awesome to deal with. And I think it would be great for you guys to help support them over the next couple of months by playing this game via Viveport Infinity. So if you're going to go back into it and check it out now that you've seen us talking about it, even if you already own it, check it out on Viveport Infinity. Throw a little bit more coin these devs' way.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you got? Oh, my turn next, huh?
Yep.
This one actually was on my preliminary list. That's the reason why I thought for a minute there that it was my turn. Let's see here. What do I have? Oh, next I actually have two titles that I'm listing together because Roots, uh, not only are they really solid puzzlers, but to this day, the Gallery Part One and Part Two are some of the most visually stunning games that I've seen in VR. Even today, Part Two stands up to anything, and it's an amazing fantasy-based story with some pretty solid, fetch quest style puzzles going on in it, and you know, it's it's hard to um, it's hard to recommend games like this to people, uh, not only because they're older games, but they're fairly pricey. They're like $20 a piece for them. Sometimes you can get them bundled together for like 30. But I mean, they're on Viveport Infinity, so anybody who has this subscription service can play two AAA quality games. This comes from Cloudhead Games, the studio that has since brought us Pistol Whip, and you won't find a higher quality puzzler in VR than these games here.
Yeah, it's funny because I was looking at you put Gallery 1 and 2, and I went to look for a trailer for both of them, and I realized I was thinking, oh shit, this is actually two games. And then I thought, well, Wes messed up for a second. And then I did the math in my head. Free is free, and it's one experience. Like it's even better than one game because you're getting one and two all in one. You're getting to do both of them together on Viveport for free, and you're having a kind of like an extended game and really supporting the devs. You said the second one. I never tried the second one because I haven't got through the first one, but the trailer looks amazing, and like you said, the graphics hold up compared to just about everything else out there today. And these are the developers of Pistol Whip, so they clearly know what they're doing, and they keep getting better with every game, right?
Yeah, yeah. And let me be clear here: the gallery episode 2 is the main event, right? It's the main attraction. I only recommend the gallery episode 1, uh, just because it is, it's nice to have the backstory, right, of what's going on. It helps you to understand episode 2. They're very different, the two games. Both of them good in their own ways. Number one's solid, but number two's great.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend that you play both of them. Play number one just so that you can have the background for the story on number two.
Yeah, and like Scion said, they're not the longest games. They're you can play through both of them probably in a few hours, right? I don't know. I don't know how long the second one is,
Yeah.
but definitely worth the price of admission, especially if it's free. They're usually $20 a piece. So
And this is like my biggest complaint about Pistol Whip is that it's so successful that I don't know if we're ever going to see the gallery episode 3, which pisses me off because I want the gallery episode 3.
yeah, well, they're already doing new stuff with Pistol Whip, so I think you're right. I think they're pretty much done. Maybe, I don't know. Guess only time will tell, right?
Well, if we get enough people to play this thing on Viport,
Ooh,
maybe the demand will grow and maybe they'll hear us,
huh?
Roots.
That's a good point. Very good point.
All right. Anyway, great games, especially if you like puzzle games. I can't recommend them enough. What do you got, Roots?
All right, for the next one. Speaking of just came out, this has only been out for a month or two. We just covered it. Feel like it just covered it. Amazing game. Actually has a lot of replayability. One of the best games I've, as far as movement wise in VR, and that is Jupiter. This is another puzzler, but man, this is just so cool to play. If anybody's been like seen gameplay of this and thought, "Fuck, I don't want to spend the money on it," but you have Viveport Infinity, you can play it for free, right? It's definitely worth it.
Yeah, actually, this is one of my big regrets when when I had to go to PSVR exclusivity was I was kind of in the middle of Jupitergrad, and this game has good sound, it has awesome looking artwork, especially inside the headset. But this game's all about how it feels to play this. The locomotion is spectacular in this game, and it's challenging classic platforming, but in VR. And it's kind of hard to explain it uh, without having someone in the game. But these are the kind of games that we used to play as children, where you have timed jumps, things like that. That you have a split second to move through a gap or you die. It's that old style of game, but in VR, and it works so well.
Yeah, it works amazingly well, and it's got so many different situational puzzles. Even these fans, the fire, the you go into water where you're actually using your propellers, and that's one of the things, Wes, that I like the most is it's got that feel kind of like Windlands 2, but it's actually got a different mechanism where you can crank it with your thumbstick as well, and it'll wheel it, and so you can do different things. You can, and when you get good, um, you get roots good, man. You can start swinging around like, no, I'm not that good, but you can swing around like you can get really good at maneuvering in this. And I can see somebody that, I think they even didn't they add leaderboards for this, or I don't know. I can't remember if they were going to add
It's on
stuff like
the way.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's on the way. Tons of cool stuff coming on the way. They're going to have time trials uh, with special maps for people to
Oh,
play
that's right.
timed out, and then there's going to be obviously leaderboards so that you can compare times with your friends and people across the world. And they're also bringing this game to Oculus Quest and PlayStation VR. So a lot of big things in store for this game. Pretty much a hit with everyone that played it. And if you haven't played it, I can't recommend it enough.
Yeah, definitely worth it. For
Yeah,
sure.
I would call this one of the sleeper titles of 2020, right? Probably on its way to an award on the 2020 show.
Oh yeah, I can totally see this one getting a movement award or something. Some kind of award. I guarantee this one will get for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would ask each and every one of you who have Viport who have not yet played this game, go do it because we don't just choose the winners for the end of the year awards during the 2020 show. We have a voting channel set up on our Discord, and everybody gets a vote for every award, and there's a lot of awards. I'm sure Jupitergrad's going to be up for at least one or two of them. So if you haven't played it, get in there and play it. And even if you do own it, play it on Viport so that these devs can make a little extra scratch.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's see where we are at on my list. Oh, I mentioned a moment ago that there was quite an extensive horror library on Viport Infinity. And I really, as much as I love the horror games, I had to really make a concerted effort not to just list five horror games because I could have
Hmm.
easily done that. So I kind of held it to two. We already talked about A Chair in the Room Greenwater, which is an awesome game. You guys should check it out. Uh, but I had to pick which one I thought was the best. And, it came down to two, and I'm not going to talk about the other one because I'll probably talk about it next time that we do one of these. But the game I picked was Layers of Fear VR. And this game got a VR port within the last year, got an Oculus Quest port within the last year. And it's that same type of surreal horror that I love. A lot of people refer to it as a psychedelic horror game, and there are certainly parts and sequences in the game that warrant that title.
Yeah, well, it's one of those games that was high on my list that I've never tried before that I need to go in and check out for sure. And Looks creepy, Wes.
Yeah, you think that chick asking to take my skin in organ quarter was creepy. Uh, you literally find some skin in this game, dude. This is wild.
Oh wow. Who doesn't want to find some skin every now and then, right?
Coming from Bloober Team roots, Bloober Team, the Polish masters of VR horror and flat horror for that matter.
What is it? What is with Poland and amazing developers? They just seem to just keep spitting them out. It's like they all got together in Poland and said, "Let's just do VR. And we're just going to make VR games, and they're going to be amazing, and we're going to be known for VR games." And so far, that's what I'm seeing anyway.
Dude, there's tons of good VR developers in Poland. I'm constantly shocked because it's like every time I learn about a new developer, they're Polish, like Super Bright. Recently, we learned about the awesome people at Super Bright who took In Death to a weaker platform and made it into a better game.
That's
I mean, it's
crazy.
really amazing what these Polish developers are capable of.
Yeah, it's super good. Yeah, Winland's one is okay. Scion says, I bought Winland's one, and I still have yet to try it, Wes. I don't know why. Same thing with Dick Wild one. Maybe it's just the originals I need to go back into.
Yeah,
Uh,
Scion says Winlands 1 is okay. It's more of a super challenging platformer. It got too hard for me. You know who it could never get too hard for?
My mom!
wow, that's what I heard.
Anyway, Layers of Fear VR, a port of a fairly well-known flat title. I'm hoping, Roots, that Bloober Team brings over some more of their titles. They just released Observer Redux, which looks absolutely amazing. Observer was one of the games I was actually looking at buying just to try it on Helix Vision. It looks like it would be so good in VR.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, definitely a game to check out, Layers of Fear. And again, check it out on Viveport. Throw some money Bluebird Team's way.
Didn't they release Layers of Fear 2 as well, flat? And I think it was free for Epic Game Store, or maybe I'm remembering that wrong.
You're absolutely correct. We all
Oh,
just recently got that via free stuff and killer deals, Epic Game Store.
yeah, sweet. So I have that in my library. If I play through this, I could Helix Vision the second one. I know it works. I think Alex did it, so
Absolutely.
cool.
Simplex checking in the in the chat. You know, I was thinking of you, Simplex, when I was talking. Pumping up all these Polish developers. I knew that our friend Simplex here is a champion of the Polish VR scene.
I think Gerillo as well. I've seen comments from Gerillo as far as the same thing, so that's cool.
Yeah, awesome. Your turn, Roots. What's up?
All right, the next one is a no brainer. It's actually I've almost rebought this on the Quest. I don't know if I ever have somebody that wants to play it on a showcase, then I would. But this is a platformer everybody should own, and that's Moss. And it's forgotten because it's been out for so long, but this game is super super beautiful, amazing platform game, has an amazing story, and it's a game that maybe somebody didn't pick up for whatever reason. Now you can play it for free on Infinity.
Yeah, man. Sometimes it's kind of like kind of the same thing with To the Top, right? Moss is one of those games that's been so good for so long that it kind of gets underestimated in today's world. People don't talk enough about how good Moss is. And there for a good year and a half, 2 years, this game was all the rage, and it's easy to see why. Anybody that's played it knows just how beautiful the worlds are, just how high quality the of a production Moss really is, and it's amazing to me, Roots, that you can get games that are this good on Viveport Infinity.
Yeah, this is definitely a must play through, in my opinion, especially if you like stories. I mean, it's got a really good story. So,
Simplex says any word on Moss 2? Uh, Not recently, Simplex. We do know that they have been working on it for some time.
mm.
I would be shocked if we didn't see this Moss Book 2 be released in 2021. Absolutely. It's got to be nearly complete at this point. They've been working on it for a good long time.
Let me ask you this: the Quest port. I don't know if it's got an update or not, but one of the things that people in the Discord really were put off about Moss on Quest 1 was the lack of reflection in the water, like the deer and that type of stuff. I'm assuming that's got to be put back in, right, for the Quest 2 version. At some point, they're going to hopefully fix that.
Yeah, I got to think so. That was one of the biggest visual problems with all of the Quest 1 titles. Nobody could do reflective water on the Quest 1. Nobody could. And when you're seeing these titles like Phantom Covert Ops and Apex Construct, the lighting and reflections are one of the first things that they update, and it's one of the most noticeable things. So I got to imagine so, right? I don't know if they've patched it, if PolyArc has patched Moss yet for Oculus Quest 2, but if they haven't, I'm sure that they will, and I'm sure that what was already a beautiful game is going to become even more so.
And if you have kids, this is a great game. I'm sure your kids love this game, right? They had to have.
Yeah, well, my boys didn't play it, but my daughter and my wife really liked it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I really enjoyed just the environments, like the early environments in this game when you're in the forest. It makes you feel like you're in the Hobbit or something, right? And I could literally just chill and with the ambiance that's going on here because it's such a massive enchanted forest and the sound is just so good and spot on. It's very, very relaxing.
Do you ever do that? Because this is something that a guilty confession I have. I like literally almost laughed when Anthony said he sat down and zing and like enjoyed the ambiance or whatever. Why? But I've actually done that in some games. Like it's so beautiful, I'll just like sit down and just take it in for a minute. I think I'm losing it. That was cool.
Oh man, actually a very natural thing in VR. Now, if you were doing this with a flat game, it'd be kind of weird. But that's the beautiful thing about VR is it's not just about how fun the game is. Even shitty games, at least you get to go somewhere, right? It's not like playing a game. It's like taking a trip, and every time you put the headset on, and
Yeah.
it's one of the reasons I absolutely love technology.
And we need the trip now, Wes. It seems like at least in some parts of the world, uh, lockdowns or you're getting ready to be. Probably us too. So you're gonna be stuck
Yeah, I mean,
inside
how
again.
awesome it is. I mean, like, we've been stuck indoors for so long now. We didn't get to do all the cool stuff that we normally do over the summer here. We normally travel quite a bit and go to amusement parks. And I know it's been kind of rough on my kids just having to be indoors all the time. Um, but here lately we've been getting in the rec room, and I mean, just yesterday, my wife and my daughter and myself, we went and played laser tag for like an hour and we did it all right here in this room and the room next to me. But we took a legitimate trip to another place, right?
Mhm.
It's an amazing technology, and like Gamertag said recently, it's life changing.
Yeah, I agree, and I think you should go for that from that logic and tell your wife we've done the laser tag. Now I want to take the kids to the amusement park. We're getting the yaw, and we're gonna go to No Limits 2. Go on all the roller coasters.
I'm sure she'd be all about it if we
Extra.
had the money for it.
Yeah, well, you got a couple extra things going around on your house now, so
Yeah, I'm sure one day I'll have something like that. It might not be anytime soon, but it's too awesome for me not to own.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, that's going to bring us to our final title, my fifth and final pick. And Roots, I kind of intentionally tried to steer around some of the newer releases, a lot of which I haven't played. I probably could have picked 10 titles in Viveport that are new releases that I haven't played yet. But I did pick one new release, and that was my final pick here, my final game on the list, Paper Beast. An absolutely beautiful game, and we were just talking about how VR takes you to another place. This game takes you to another friggin' dimension, man. and it's really cool. It's really hard to explain through words how cool the game is. It looks kind of boring, albeit beautiful, but boring from the flat footage. But it's such a strange world that you're in, and it's fun to interact with once you get in there.
It's a perfect game for Viveport Infinity because it is the type of game that I would look at and say, it doesn't. I don't know if I would like it. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not. I don't want to waste $20. But oh shit, I can try it for free and not the demo. I tried the demo. The demos, it gives you just enough to make you think you might like it, but it doesn't show you much. But here you get to play the entire game, and it just keeps getting more and more bizarre as you go along. It's got the sandbox, and it's just very cool. It's different, right?
Yeah, and that really, I've had Infinity for almost 2 years now, and stuff like this has been really the biggest positive for me from it. I've played so many things that I would have never spent money on, just because they're on Viport Infinity. There's tons of of experiences, the non-game VR entertainment. Uh, some of the best ones I've ever seen have been on Viport. And then there's if you're in the indie games, I mean, this is like indie game heaven. And then there's stuff like this that doesn't quite translate through flat trailers. But again, if you've got the subscription, it's free. Why not give it a shot? And this is one of those titles that you have to play to understand.
Yeah, it's like Taco Face. You just never get it until you try it. No, actually, this game's good. But what's funny is there's games like you said, indie, like Space Cats with Lasers. We actually both really enjoyed that game, and it's not something I would run out and buy. I actually did buy it after I tried it on Viveport because I wanted it on Steam for $5. That's how good it was. So,
Yeah. Radio Rut says the best game on Viport is Ashiwash.
who doesn't love playing with feet in VR? You know what I mean? Ashi Wash.
I still haven't tried Great Header.
Oh, well, there's so many gems that are just like other games. Headmaster, Gray Header sounds like it would be a gem. I almost feel like I want to do another episode of some amazing ones. But we're stuck in this one with these crappy titles here, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we'll get back to that. That last one was pretty epic though. We had the what was it, the one that was like the plank. It was called Another Plank. That's what it
Oh,
was. Instead of
yeah.
the
I've never tried another plank. I need to try it. Some of these,
I
and
didn't try I didn't try the first plank, like Richie's Plank Experience. I've never played that.
that's actually
So I
not too
haven't played
bad.
that or Another Plank.
Richie's Plank isn't too bad to play for free. I don't know that I would want to buy it, but I guess it's a good way to showcase heights. So,
Yeah, I would put those people to the top, but that's just me.
well, but what if Grandma's flinging herself around? She might walk out on a board. Although I did see that video where that lady just dove into the wall, and I don't know, still don't know what she was gonna do if she thought it was real. Why was she jumping off, Wes? It's crazy.
It is crazy.
Yeah, so I guess we'll get to my last one, which people have been raving about this one, and it was made by the legendary Zach. What's his name? Zach something or other. Zach Brown. I know he's got something else in the
Yeah,
middle.
Zach Salakis Brown.
Yeah, so Vertigo Remastered. We're waiting on Vertigo 2. This is one of the best, most polished games. Everybody that loves Boneworks, maybe you've seen Boneworks and you're thinking, fuck, I want to play Boneworks. Well, here's something that's like Boneworks. I think in a lot of ways it's almost better than Boneworks. Very good story, very well done, and it's remastered, right?
Yeah, fun gameplay too, man. Vertigo Remastered. Uh, Kind of a surprise for me because I never played Vertigo before. It was kind of off of my radar until they released the Vertigo 2 demo that everybody went gaga for. And then just out of nowhere, we learned that long before we ever got Vertigo 2, we were going to get this. remake of the original Vertigo, and it really is awesome. A lot of the things that you love about Boneworks on full display in this game, and no annoying physics to hamper the gameplay.
Yeah, well, what I loved about this game the most is somehow I bought Vertigo before one, and I got it for free. I was like, oh shit, man, I got to buy this game. It's 20 some bucks, and then I got it for free. But you can have it for free if you have Viveport Infinity, and it's definitely one of the best games you can play on Viveport Infinity for free.
Yeah, I got to concur with that. Roots. Every time we do one of these lists, it just it overwhelms me because I have so many titles. You and Gamer Chick kind of laughed at the Roots. I got to get back into that list. I've got one just as long, brother, and that's saying a lot. Just ask my mom.
Yeah, I was gonna hit the button. Well, I'll tell you what, dude, I'm feeling that way. I really am feeling like I've got like every one of these games I want to get into, and especially the ones you picked. You know, they're all ones that are on my list that I haven't played. I haven't played through all the Gallery 2. I don't think I even made it to Gallery 2. I played Gallery 1. We talked about it, and then I think I stopped. So,
Yeah, you need to check it out just to see what it looks like, man. It's still one of the most beautiful titles in VR, even 4 years later, which is just crazy.
that is crazy. Cool. We've got a whole slew of games for everybody to play. And if you don't have Infinity, I question your soul. And well, maybe not your soul because it is Viveport, but it's a good deal. So.
Yeah, and just a reminder again, now through the end of the year, Viport is agreeing to uh, forfeit their cut. 100% of the proceeds are going to game developers. So when you play those games, you're choosing to support the developers. So even if you own the game, uh, play it in Viport over the next couple of months and help support your favorite game developers. Um, for the record, this segment, this best of Viport segment, was not, I
Hmm.
repeat, not subsidized. It was not. We are in no way affiliated with Viport. We have received no compensation. Everything we've said is our honest opinion, and our honest opinion is that Viport Infinity is still the best deal in VR.
Yeah, just keeps getting better and better. And, you know, if you go back like Eric Masher, and actually, I didn't get a chance to say this last episode. You know, Eric Masher, you know, he enjoyed our content, joined in, and maybe let us know in the comments if some of you had done this, but he's actually went back and watched every single episode, Wes, to get caught up and like did a marathon for a couple weeks. And you know, that makes me feel good because, you know, I don't know, I've watched or binge watched or listened to a lot of podcasts and shows, and just the thought that somebody would want to go back and listen to the early rough days where Roots froze into the front of the camera when it was his turn to be the host. I don't do well with the script, Wes. I'm off script. I can do fine. I start reading stuff. I get nervous for some reason. It makes no sense.
Yeah, it
So,
makes you feel good that somebody enjoys it that much that they can literally sit through the entire thing, hundreds of hours of it, and then pay us. I mean, he supports
yeah.
us on Patreon, which is absolutely awesome.
Yeah, we
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it for sure. Absolutely.
Delirium Drew VR says, "What I miss? I'm late AF." Dude, you have missed the Monday show.
Yeah, 63. Couple my mom
You know,
jokes. Nothing crazy
yeah,
this
yeah,
week.
yeah. Same old, man. We talked about Viport, talked some cool VR, a few my mom jokes, and we are out.
We're out, bro. But hey, there's a lot of
Uh,
good games in there, Drew. Man, if you I mean, just watch the show back, and you'll see there's a lot of good games we talked about for sure.
Absolutely. You know, played some Pop One with Drew last night. Roots. I got on here and got in with D-Rail, and we played a few matches, and then it was I don't know, maybe 30 minutes in, Drew ended up joining us, and when Drew joined the team, that's when we started to click, brother, and we actually won a couple,
I'll
like
tell you.
legit wins, not where like we go in and magically we won because nobody killed us. Uh, we actually went and killed people and won.
I have not played a game where we didn't kick ass when it was with Drew. And you know what's funny is like sometimes you get in there with Drew and like you're ready to go to bed and he's like, "Come on, man, we can do one more." Like, dude, it's fucking late. I'm
Yeah.
tired, bro.
It's hard not to go for one more. That game's so addictive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Simplex says, "Did you talk about the PS5 patch for Blood and Truth?" Yeah, Simplex, I just couldn't help myself. I had to say at least once, I told you so to everybody, all the naysayers out there. They can all bite my butt. Uh, PlayStation VR lives on.
Who would have known that Upload VR was spewing fake news, you know? Oh, wait, you did. You just said it yesterday.
Yeah, I was in there playing Farpoint co-op with my son yesterday, and I don't know if you've noticed, but when you're in that main hub part of Farpoint before you launch into any of the maps, it's always so shimmery. Like even on PlayStation VR Pro, the picture is very dirty in the ship in the little hub area there. So that's going to be one of the first things I go to on my PlayStation 5 is I'm going to check it out. Um, check out the far point. I mean, I've got a handful of games and areas that I know exactly where to go to look, and I'm going to be able to tell people right away if this thing makes a big difference. And I think that it is actually.
Are you talking about Roots' Playroom? With all the toys that I get to play with, all those statues and figures
Yep.
and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, dude. That's actually kind of cool because I did find myself like checking all those different things out and playing and throwing them at. I don't know. When you play with other people? Are you in the same room? I can't even remember. I thought we were, but I can't remember now. It's
Yeah,
been so
yeah,
long.
yeah. You meet up in that room, and then when everybody selects their weapons and is ready to go, then we launch into the game together.
Okay. Yeah, I thought I had a memory of throwing stuff at you in there. So that's
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. That's your memories are true, Roots.
Yeah, sounds good.
Anyway, I think that's going to wrap up the Monday show 63. A big thanks to everyone in the chat who turned out, and a big thank you to everyone who's watching the replay. We appreciate all of you. Um, just a reminder how you can support our channel. Of course, those of you who are new to the channel, please consider subscribing and clicking the notification bell to stay up with all of our content here on the Virtual Strangers channel. For those of you who'd like to do a little something more, of course, as we just mentioned, you can support us on Patreon, where for as little as $3 per month, you can gain access to our weekly show notes, as well as the always awesome Money Show. New Money Show incoming later this week, guys, so stay tuned for that. And last but not least, for those of you who are sad to see the show end and want the conversation to continue on, the conversation never ends, friends. There's an invitation in the description down below to our Discord. And that, my friends, is where our community lives. So come on and join the community, join the conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, with that said, I'd like to thank you all for watching. For Roots, I'm Wes.